Today we got 10 climbing systems. We're gonna go through them. I'm gonna give you my notes on each of them, but first we gotta make some coffee. Oh yeah. Huge thank you to Forrest Lytle for helping make all this happen. I'm not that good at reading, so I wanted to put together a video. The books that I have here, they have pictures, so they help me. This video is for someone who is not familiar with climbing systems. If you climb often and every day, this video is not for you. I'm not instructing you on how to climb. I can barely get in the tree myself. This is just a familiarization video for some of the climbing components. I wanted to display different types of systems that it's kind of hard to read about this stuff and totally grasp the concepts. I don't think the reading material covers everything. I'm going to give a few books that I think are helpful in this process. This is a good book. Jeff Jepson's a great author. Tree Climber's Companion, that's another good book. Probably a good one to have around just so you know what you probably should be and shouldn't be doing per the regulations. An ISA book. If I had to pick one book for all tree books, this is it. Okay. This is the book. I see comments sometimes, people don't get it, but the fundamentals, anybody who's good at something, they always have solid fundamentals and go back to fundamentals. This is a great book to read. Jerry Baronic, Certified OG, Super Legitness. I mean, just look at the names on the back of here. This book was reprinted by The Educated Climber. Big fan. Thank you for doing that, because when I was looking for this book, it was like $8 gajillion. What are the basic types of climbing systems? You have open systems and you have closed systems. Here we have an example of a Blake's hitch. It's a closed system. It can't be opened without being untied. Here we have an example of an open system. This is a split tail. That means you can open one side of it. You know it's an open system because if you open one side and let go, you fall to your death. Split tail system was a good development because now you can open one half of your line and get it over limbs and reposition and make different advancements without taking the time to retie this whole system. We've also got single line and double line, also known as MRS, and SRT, DDRT, DRT. There's a lot of acronyms, but the main thing you need to realize is 2 ropes, 1 rope. 1 rope, 2 ropes.
Nighttime. Daytime!
1 rope, 2 ropes. See, the way this actuates is you're utilizing 2 lines to move. This one, you're utilizing 1. Gonna throw my harness on. This is the Monkey Beaver 2.0 with the 2.0 suspenders. I love it. Just step in and step in, turn. Here we've got the Unisender. It's pretty easy to take on and take off the rope. I will demonstrate that when I switch it over to DRT. Just gonna throw this carabiner on here. The captive eyes are nice because it kind of not prevents, but helps it not rotate when it's in there. One thing about this is if you take it at an angle, you kind of miss it. So you have to pretty much 90 degrees flip that thing. This is by far the easiest rope walking system that I've used. Just hooks up right here. You put on your foot ascender, you put on your knee ascender, cinch up your adjustable bridge if you've got one. The cool thing about this Monkey Beaver 2.0 is you can just clip right in. Cool. So now my weight is fully on the device. I did think the thing that was kind of interesting to get used to on this device is how you descend, because if you just hit it, see how I dropped? It's hard. So you have to go over the top and then and then kind of contract it, then you're able to descend a little easier. I've climbed in it a couple times. So this is how you take it off the rope. You come out. Well, this is how I take it off the rope. Whatever you do is whatever you do. It's really easy. There's no screws, no adjustments, no slick pins, just the rope. And then if you want to double rope with it, it's pretty easy. This is how you put on the Unisender. There you go. Top piece here. Now you're on double rope. It's easier if you come out at a 90. Because if you come out here, you kind of miss it. I guess that's one complaint. If that gets improved, man, this thing would be awesome. So here it is in dual configuration. I don't know if it's a little bit easier. Nope, it's still jumpy. So you just break it, and then you're able to descend. And then it just flips right off. So here's how you descend. Yep. And then it just flips right off. Throw that back on. It's pretty easy. Oh yeah. Here we've got the Akimbo. It's got 2 different friction points that you can test on, and the cool thing about this device is it's totally doesn't require tools to adjust friction, and look how compact it is. I mean, compared to all these other devices, its working load limit is like 280 pounds with specific ropes. This is Tautline. This is one of the accepted ropes. To open it up, what you want to do is take it all the way to the open position. Then you can open it and slide out the ropes. And here is how you adjust the friction on it. So if you lift it up, you're able to adjust the friction there. I kind of have it set where I think is maxed out friction for me, for sure. The cool thing about this is it kind of shows you how it goes. And then you take your other part of the line, stick it in there. Should go in there. It's going to be tight for the friction. And then you just put it in there. Make sure your friction's locked out. This is the Akimbo for me. I do like the Akimbo though, because you can descend like it's super smooth. Do that again, and it just requires a little bit of pushing down. Catches me. It's a cool device. Personally, I like how compact this thing is. Can't wait to climb on it more. To take this off, if we're going to switch to DRT, we're going to open it up all the way, get the rope out like so. In the manual, the Akimbo, they recommend having kind of bridge attachment, like I have this CMI bridge attachment.
Today, Junior!
That's on a swivel, and I'll show you all that if you haven't already seen it. I tied up this adjustable bridge here. All it is a Petzl ring on a Ropeman Ascender. Rock Exotica recommends, if you're going to run the Akimbo in double rope, that you have a bridge attachment kind of like this, where you can kind of separate the device from the tail end of the line. Yeah, kind of like this. So they're separated. That's me totally suspended on the device. So here we're going to descend on the Akimbo in dual rope configuration. I like it. You don't have to fight to get your chest ascender off of it. So when you get in this thing and you sit back and you're ready to come off of it, the cool thing about the Akimbo is it just pops off like that. Here is the rope runner in SRT configuration. So the rope runner tends to be a little slippy for me. I think a lot of that has to do with probably I think Ecstatic is one of the better ropes to run in it. But for me, I think it's a little bit hard to break the bird. I don't know. But I'm also a bigger dude. I'm fully suspended on the rope runner now. It's honestly not my go-to device. Yeah, it's pretty hard for me to break the bird. And it does tend to slip a little bit. Like I feel like I have to pull too hard to actuate it. It's just my personal feelings on it. Like I feel like I gotta use two hands. And then it slips. So, and that's maxed out on friction. I guess I could use a bigger rope and play with it more, but it's just not my go-to. Doesn't mean it's a bad device. But that's just kind of stuff you have to figure out playing with this stuff. So that was the rope runner in SRT. I'm going to show the rope runner in double line technique now. So basically how I put it on every time is I throw it in the bird. Then I put the slick pin in. Then I put in the middle slick pin. Throw that down over there. Put that slick pin through. And then for your final slick pin, you want to make sure it's back all the way in the suppressed position. Then slide it through so you want both D10s on every single one coming out. Here's an example of it working in DRT. The CMI bridge device is cool because it puts a little bit of separation between your tail and your device. And then this is tending it. This would not be my double line method of choice. To take the rope runner off, all you got to do is take out your slick pins. There's that one. And then on the bottom one, the slick pins, you do the first one and then you do the second one and it goes into like a little slot. So that's how you take the rope runner off. There is the rope runner. A rope wrench consists of some kind of pulley, some kind of tether, some kind of hitch cord, and some kind of rope wrench. These are tied with different hitches. This is a Chicane hitch. Hitch cord comes in all different diameters and all kinds of different lengths. You are really able to set up a custom climbing setup with hitch cord, tether length, and the wrench that you use. I'll get into some of those differences after this, but I'm just going to demonstrate this real quick. Tin the slack. The rope wrenches, they ascend really easily. I don't climb on a rope wrench often. That's not my go-to. Just kind of demonstrating here. So here's descending on a rope wrench. That shouldn't do that. That is not the correct combo for me. That's why it's important to test your gear. This is an example of one that is set up correctly for me. You can notice in here, there's a rubber piece that helps keep the wrench head up while it's ascending. There is also a friction adjustment here. It's on a VT knot. Comes together a little easier. The tether's a little bit more long. This is me fully suspended on the rope wrench. This is cool. Companies make these little cups that you can use to descend on. See how much more controlled this one is? I'm able to stop freely whenever I want. I'm gonna take the wrench head and depress the one side, and there's a little slot in there that it fits in. If you can see, there's a little slot in there that the quick pin can depress a little bit farther into, so you can fit your rope in there. And then I'll just put that in there and let the wrench stand on the rope. Then what I'll do is I'll tie a slip knot, just place the pulley on there. Now it's time for the hitch cord. So what I'll do is I'll tie a standard VT knot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then 1 goes over, and then you crisscross. The one that was on top before now goes under, and the one that was under before goes over. And then you do that one more time to make 1, 2, 3 crisscrosses. And then I will just line up the wrench and the hitch cord. I'll take my carabiner, I'll put it through the hitch cord, then I'll put it through the tether, and then I'll put it through the pulley. Do the same thing for the other side. With this climbing systems, these oval carabiners work a lot better. I'll pull out the slip knot, and then there is your rope wrench. So there is unlimited ways that you can set up your rope wrench. There's different kinds of pulleys, just all kinds of different configuration that you can use. Here we have the Petzl Zigzag, probably one of the most purchased. For the Zigzag, you actually have to feed the tail end of the rope all the way through to the device, because a sewn eye is not going to fit through here. If you don't have a sewn eye, then you can fit it through there. But to run this device, you have to run the rope through every single time. Unless you have a Petzl rope, then you have an eye small enough that you can get all the way through the Zigzag. This is the Zigzag in single line mode. This is the Zigzag in double line mode. In order to run the Zigzag with SRT, you're supposed to have this device that's called a Chicane. The Chicane, I have my own feelings about that. The way it's set up is you can only use the Petzl proprietary carabiners, and even all the Petzl proprietary carabiners don't work. They have to be pretty much this style. If not, it's not getting in there. I'm assuming where you would tie into this on SRT would be right here. I've not used this yet. I plan to. This is just more for familiarization with the products. This is me fully suspended in the Chicane. If I want to descend, you just depress this mechanical prusik. The Zigzag and the Xeon and the Petzl style, they're a little bit touchy at first. You kind of got to get used to them, but they're smooth after you get used to them. Here's how you tend the line. Some folks think this is kind of a hard device to limb walk on, because you can't, it's hard to, you gotta like depress this and hit that. So it's a weird one. I've even heard of some people taking it out and limb walking like that. I can't recommend that. Now we've got old school here. So to tie a Blake's hitch, all you basically need is the rope. This is just one version. There's multiple different versions you can use as far as the knot here. Some people like to put a figure 8 in here, and some people put a stopper knot at the end. You should probably always have a stopper knot at the end. So to tie a Blake's hitch, you have to have enough tail to tie it and put a stopper knot at the end of it. To do a clove hitch, I'll do one circle here. I'll make another circle. I'll put the second circle behind the first circle, put my carabiner in, tighten it up. There's your clove. And the cool thing about a clove hitch is you can adjust it. So if I need, I don't know, probably about 6 more inches, I can get 6 more inches. That's about probably what I need. Now that I've got the correct amount of tail, what I'll do is I'll take the standing end of my line, put the tail into the line over that standing end, and I like to put my thumb up through there, and I'll go 1 wrap over to the right, 2 wraps over to the right, and then 2 wraps just on the line that are a little bit more snug. Circle back around on the 4th one, come over the tag end of the line like so, under, back behind the rope like this. See how it kind of makes a little fist, up through 2 and out the middle. And then you kind of want to tighten it up. And depending on where you do these, you can kind of get it where you want it. And depending on how you adjust the knot, you can get the stuff where you want it. And then once you got it kind of where you like it, you kind of want to tie it back up. You can do an overhand knot or a figure 8. That's just an overhand knot for now. Throw it up some. Then you want to weight it. And then as you start to weight it, you can kind of see how the friction comes out. So now I'm fully suspended. See how, there you go. Now I'm just gonna stand up. That's how to tie Blake's pretty quick. There's different ways you can do this stuff. Some people even put a figure 8 right in here, but it all pretty much does the same thing. Push it up. This is old skanky Samson rope. I'm gonna tie up a Taut-Line hitch real quick. And sit into it and tighten it. In my opinion, the Taut-Line creeps a little bit more than the Blake's hitch, but it's actuated in the same way. So to ascend, hip thrust, push it forward, hip thrust, push it forward. So this is me suspended on a Taut-Line hitch, and you actuate it the same way as a Blake's hitch to descend. I think it's a little bit harder to depress than a Blake's, and I think it binds up more. I prefer to tie a Blake's hitch. See how hard I have to depress this to get it to go? Yeah, I'd rather tie a Blake's, honestly. I'm sure it's all right to descend on, but it's just, it gets too tight for me. I think the Blake's stays together a little bit better. It is basically a triple attachment pulley, hitch cord, and another carabiner. It's pretty smooth getting up. This is tied on a Chicane. Here we are on the split tail with the Chicane, and you can just descend on it like that. So I'm fully suspended, and you pretty much descend on it kind of like you do the rope wrench. If you didn't have a triple attachment pulley, what you would do would be to hook the pulley side into your bridge and hook the other side into your bridge like so. Now I'm fully suspended on it with the split tail system that's not hooked up into the triple attachment pulley, and you just descend like so. So I'll put a knot block in here with an alpine butterfly. So some people will just climb on hitch cord and a pulley. Something like this would be too much to descend on its own because it will burn up this hitch cord. What some people do will be either descend on a figure 8, or they will use a munter hitch on their bridge. I'll show the figure 8 first. Take a section of it. You just pull a bight of rope through there. We'll get this a little higher. This will only work for descent. So now we're set up with a figure 8, right? So this would be if you wanted to introduce some friction into your system on the way down if you're climbing with just this. So basically I'll have this, I'm totally suspended now. So now we have the figure 8 introducing more friction into the system so we can rappel with this hitch cord. This configuration here with the figure 8 and the hitch cord and the pulley, that only works for descent. So there's friction there and it's good, but you can only descend with it. If you try to go up, you're just gonna run into the 8 and you're gonna run out of room because the 8 isn't gonna want to advance. Cool thing about an 8 is it's just a bight of rope. That's all you really need. I'm doing it one-handed here. The GoPro died. Pop that bight out. This is if you really hate your life. Climbing on a Blake's on 3-strand. This is what the OGs really did and why they're much tougher than myself. Like I said, I can barely even get in the tree. So here is an example of climbing on a Blake's hitch with 3-strand. It is hard and I feel like it seizes up easy for me anyway. This is me totally suspended by the line. I mean, that's not too bad, but still, it sucks. And the reason that we tie a backup knot is because on some of these braided lines, it can creep. And see how I've sat there for a second, so now it's locked off and it's a lot harder to articulate. Yeah, it sucks. I would not want to climb on this because then you got to break it. Yeah, no fun. I'm done. That's it. That's what you give the new guy. Say, hey, climb on this. Yeah, that's horrible. Worst experience of my life. I would not want to climb on that. So here is the ZigZag Plus. I believe this is on some poison ivy. I think it's a Yale product. This is probably what I have the most time on is a ZigZag. I think it's probably the smoothest mechanical to start out on. And the way that it works is you just depress it. It's pretty smooth. So here's descending on a ZigZag. There is a basic rundown on some of the devices you can use accessing a tree. I'm not a professional climber. I don't climb every day. I spend most of my time in a lift. I just thought that it would be cool to share some of this knowledge. And another thing is I really dig these Monkey Beaver 2.0 suspenders. I feel like a real tree guy when I wear them. They just hug your body, you know. They are definitely an improvement from suspender version 1. So if you're thinking about it, it's worth it. And they're not just for the Monkey Beaver saddle. You can put them on a tree motion. You can put them on pretty much anything. I think they feel really good. And the cool thing about the Monkey Beaver saddle is how easy it is to get on and off. So basically, undo your chest there, undo the waist belt, hit 2 clips on each side on your legs, and now it's off. It's really easy. I mean, it's that easy. I'm out of it. Too easy. So the best climbing system is the one that you have confidence in, the one that you have the most time on, the one that you feel comfortable with, that's going to stop as you're descending. The climbing system that best fits my needs may not fit your needs. It just depends on the application of tree work you're doing. And everybody has a different preference on mechanicals and how they depress or how the friction settings are. In my opinion, that's why it's important to get time on different devices and figure out what suits your needs and what what you like the best. If I was going to start out climbing, which I'm doing, I think my go-to would be a hitch climber and some hitch cord, and you can do double rope that way. And then if you buy a rope wrench too, then you can do SRT. You can do SRT and DRT. That really doesn't cost that much to set up, and you can do double rope and single rope. So then you can access the tree with SRT and then switch over to friction saver in the canopy, and you got a pretty versatile system there for, you know, a pulley, a hitch cord, and a wrench. And some carabiners too. That's what I would kind of start out on, and that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. The mechanicals can fail, and that's something that you have to be aware of. That's why knowing the Blakes and the Taut-Line is important. I personally would climb with the Blakes over the Taut-Line. The Taut-Line binds just a little bit for me. I really hope this video helped. I want to give a huge shout out to In the Trees. He sent me this axe and it's wicked cool. It's a jersey. I've never had a jersey before. I think it's 2.5 pounds. I mean, it's sweet. He put this whole thing together and carved it from hand. I think it's around a 30-inch handle. It's cool. He did a wicked job on it. It's very blocky at the base. Kind of looks like a stock. But I'm so stoked, and this, I really appreciate this, and I can't wait to swing it around a little bit. That was very nice of you. And things like this is a cool part of, there's a community that we're building, not only here on this YouTube channel, but we have a Discord as well. It's called the Let It Run Discord, and in my links, you can join for free. And it's just a bunch of tree people talking about tree stuff like climbing systems, rigging, equipment, hydraulics. It's really cool. There's a plethora of discussion topics, and it's, the reason I created it was I was kind of getting tired of the Facebook antics and the negative mentality that's on those, and people just bash each other. On the Let It Run Discord, it's really an uplifting place that you can go learn about tree work and talk to people who do tree work and own companies. Everybody from no days experience to years of experience is on that application. So if you want to participate in cool stuff like this, get on the Discord, and there's a lot of cool people on it. So thanks again, In the Trees. Cool, he did a wicked job on it. I barely have the patience to hang an axe. Looking forward to swinging this thing around. Thanks again. And if you're interested in the Discord and meeting cool tree people, just hit the link and see what it's about. 1,700 subscribers. That's crazy. If you've subscribed here, I truly consider you a friend, and I can't wait to hopefully meet some of you guys in the future and talk to you. I'll be at TCIA coming up, so if you see me, just grab me and I'll talk to you, and we can talk about cool tree stuff. I'm looking forward to it, so thanks for being here. I hope that didn't come across as teachy or I'm an expert in the field, because I'm definitely not. I haven't seen a video like this, and I thought it would be cool to share some of these climbing systems side by side so you could kind of see what they're like. Put a comment down below if this helped you, and if you really like what's going on here, maybe watch another video.